I predicted the New Orleans Saints to go 11-5 in 2020. Thought they'd win their division. Reality is they went 12-4, but they did win their division. The sad thing is they fell short of their ultimate goal. And I went, oh, man. The Saints lost in the playoffs, and their quarterback, Drew Brees, retired at 42 years old. He was done, man. Physically, Drew Brees, I think, is kind of done and ready to go into broadcasting or whatever's next for him. And, man, I was just, when the Saints lost, I was really, really sad. Because over the years recently, they've had a number of opportunities where, NFC championship games, losing to the Rams, losing to, they lost to Minnesota on that, the miracle in Minnesota, that crazy Stephon Diggs play. Over the years, I think New Orleans has had a number of opportunities to win a second Super Bowl, and they just came up short. And 2020 was another great opportunity for them where they added a receiver, Emmanuel Sanders. They had defensive end Marcus Davenport back from an injury, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. And, the biggest problem for me is the Saints had to play Tom Brady 3 times last year. And, man, twice in the regular season, New Orleans beat Tampa Bay. They beat the Buccaneers. Week 1, the Saints beat the Buccaneers 34-23. And week 9, they smashed Tampa. They won 38-3. But the problem is, it is nearly impossible to beat a Tom Brady-led football team 3 times in the same year, where he's too good at making adjustments. He will find a way. You give him that many opportunities, he'll find a way to beat you. And in the playoffs, New Orleans ran into Tampa for a 3rd time, and they lost. And I just was like, oh, man, it's heartbreaking. I do wonder. I think about this often. I go, man, I wonder if the Saints had played Seattle or Green Bay and not had to play Tampa a 3rd time. Or if the Buccaneers, who peaked at the right time, if the Buccaneers had lost to Washington, the Saints might have been in the Super Bowl. It might have been New Orleans versus Kansas City instead of Tampa versus Kansas City. And the sad reality is I really, really loved Drew Brees. He was one of the most, Drew Brees and Tom Brady were the 2 most inspiring people to me in my entire life. I'd throw Tim Tebow's in the mix, a guy who I always loved his work ethic. Peyton Manning's in there, but for me, it was always Drew Brees and Tom Brady. First of all, to watch them play each other, 3 times! That's incredible. That's really, really special. Really, really, I'm always going to look back at 2020 and remember that and go, how cool was it to see Tom Brady? I mean, I remember when they lost in the playoffs, you have Tom Brady throwing the ball on the field to Drew Brees' sons. You're like, this is so cool. So that was fun, but it's nearly impossible to beat a Tom Brady-led football team 3 times in one season. And if it wasn't for that, I really wonder what would have happened. Where would New Orleans have ended up? Because I thought 2020 was a great year to win a Super Bowl for them, and they fell short. I was heartbroken and sad because I always wanted to see Drew Brees win another Super Bowl in New Orleans. I'm glad he got one. But it's a beautiful shame that, as a football fan, getting to watch Tom Brady play Drew Brees that many times, awesome. But as a Drew Brees fan, it hurt a little bit. I'm like, oh, man, I would have loved to see him end on top and get one more ring before he walked away into the sunset.